shows Clinton with a 9-point national lead over Trump. In just the last hour, Trump struck a different tone. No mention of Speaker Ryan. Really, at this late rally, he stayed mostly on teleprompter, stepped up the attack on Hillary Clinton, and asked for votes.
The election of Hillary Clinton would lead to the destruction of our country. Believe me, it will lead to the destruction of our country. Florida doesn't, if you guys don't vote me as a victor, I'm going to be very angry at you.
To our panel tonight, NBC News correspondent Hallie Jackson was inside the Trump rally in Panama City Beach, Florida tonight. Also joining us, our political analyst and the national political reporter with the Washington Post, our friend Robert Costa. His headline tomorrow, by the way, Trump declares war on GOP, says the shackles have been taken off. He's in D.C. tonight. And our friend, the managing editor of Bloomberg Politics and co-host of the broadcast With All Due Respect, Mark Halperin, with us here in the studio in New York. Hallie Jackson, to you to start. And since we're talking about a new campaign every day here, my question to you is, are you sensing a difference in the room, the crowd, the tone, the tenor?
If anything, Brian, people seem to be, more hyped when Donald Trump throws them what you could call this red meat. I have to tell you, we're not in actually a room. We're at this outdoor amphitheater at Panama City Park. It has the vibes of like a summer Friday night film festival. If you've ever been to the Hollywood Bowl in L.A., it's kind of what it's like. People with picnic baskets, people hanging out, and they really liked what Donald Trump was bringing to the stage. Trump feeding off that energy, as he does often at these very big rallies, thousands of people packing this park in particular. So I would say the color from the room, people are excited to be here backing him. When I had a chance to talk with folks in the crowd, they all said, we believe the polls are wrong. We believe he is going to do better than what the numbers are showing.
Robert Costa, it seems like every night here, or at least several times a week, we use the expression, we have never seen this before. Certainly applies to tonight. What is going on?
Brian, it's an unprecedented time in Republican politics and American political life. You have a major party nominee running against the Speaker of the House, an influential, perhaps the most influential ideological figure within that party. This is a candidate who is unbound, a candidate who finds himself now feeling with only less than 30 days left to go before the election, he's going to be a pure populist outsider, incendiary as much as he would like to be.
Mark Halperin, your co-host, said last night, this race is not competitive. Do you define this as a scorched earth policy?
Well, it's unorthodox, and it's certainly no conventional political analyst or campaign manager in either party would write this as the playbook to how to come back from behind, and he is behind. On the other hand, we don't have enough polling data since the debate to say for certain that what Donald Trump's doing is leading him to have no path to 270. Before the debate, before the video, he had a very narrow path, and things were looking bleak for him. Could the debate performance have touched a nerve in some way to bring Republicans back home, to put him in a position to win Florida, win North Carolina, win Ohio? I doubt it. So does everyone with a conventional view of how presidential politics work. But with the exception of the NBC Wall Street Journal poll, we just don't have enough data yet to say that the debate didn't change things more positively for him.
How about your bones?
Again, any conventional sense of what he's doing, he is talking in a way to alienate people he needs. He's dividing his adopted political party. But Trump was never going to win this race as a conventional Republican. The Republicans in Congress aren't very popular. Running against them may not be the worst thing in the world. I don't think that he's in a position to win on the current trajectory. I don't think the way he's behaved in the last 24 hours helps his cause. But I do want to see more polling data before I say definitively that what he's doing now is making his chances impossible. They're slim, no matter what.
Hallie Jackson, your use of the expression red meat, he is running, another way to put it, right at the people who are already at these events and giving them whole lots of what they want to hear.
He is. And listen, they like it. The other part of it is this idea that he is going after Republicans in Washington may cause him a lot of problems, as Mark is talking about, as Bob is talking about, when it comes to the path to 270. His supporters, though, they see this, as we've been talking about, as a protest vote, right? And so when Trump comes out and hits Paul Ryan, when they hear about these Republicans that are unendorsing Donald Trump, people that support him simply don't care. Here's what one woman said to us earlier tonight.
Paul Ryan is making a mistake, and it just makes everybody realize, it's all about their donors too. They're afraid. It's just like Huckabee said. They're afraid of Donald Trump winning. So they can just pull off and stand on their own all they want to. They're going to regret it. They're going to regret it because the voters is not going to stand with them if they don't stand with us.
Another woman said, hey, maybe we will just start our own party. We'll just have a separate party from the rest of Republicans, Trump's party.
That was part of the discussion we had on the broadcast last night, Robert Costa, this notion that what we're seeing is a supernova break apart and one of the pieces forms the new nova, and in this case a party where you could have candidates running under its banner say goodbye to any old ideas or ideals related to the GOP. Is anyone talking about that with any seriousness?
Not at the moment. And what's important to remember as the Republican Party breaks apart in certain ways in front of us is that the Republican National Committee, the institutional part of the Republican Party, is actually with Trump. Reince Priebus, the chairman, has been on the phone all day with Kellyanne Conway, Trump's campaign manager. Sean Spicer, the chief strategist, has been working out of Trump Tower. So even as the congressional leadership backs away from Trump to try to protect their majorities, the RNC remains there, and that's a sign perhaps that Trump isn't angling to start a new party, or is he really looking for an infrastructure to do so?
And how do they square that? How does a Reince Priebus, and I realize this calls for perhaps a judgment on your part, how does he square that when compared to, let's say, for the sake of conversation, November 9, they wake up in the morning, they have lost the election. What is left of maybe the old chassis of the GOP is going to meet in either a ballroom or a bunker somewhere in Washington and start over?
There is a sense of bleakness for many Republicans looking past November 8th. They're not sure what's next. For the moment, though, Brian, when you talk to people close to Priebus, he's bought the ticket, he's taken the ride, he's with Trump as the nominee. Anything past the election, well, it could be much more drama than we could ever anticipate, with congressional majorities being roiled, with Trump still in the scene, even if he's no longer a presidential candidate, and this unbridled populism still at the fore of a party that's really seen itself crack apart since George W. Bush was president.
Here's the part of this conversation that worries people. I want to play for you part of a Pence event today. Woman speaks from the audience, and then Governor Pence speaks to her.
For me personally, if Hillary Clinton gets in, I'm ready for a revolution because we can't have her in.
Yeah, you don't say.
But I'm just saying it. No, I'm like Trump. Do I not speak for people here? Am I not saying the truth, guys? Come on.
Yeah, there's a revolution coming on November the 8th, I promise you.
And before I run this past Mark Halperin here in the studio, here is what that made a lot of us think of from a campaign of old.
I got to ask you a question. I do not I can't trust Obama. I have read about him, and he's an Arab. He is not.
No, ma'am. He's a decent family man, citizen that I just happen to have disagreements with on fundamental issues, and that's what this campaign is all about. He's not. Thank you.
So that's what a veteran GOP senator and a former POW looks like. And you saw before that Mike Pence did the right thing. The sensible center, how out of fashion that all is. And that's the worry that traditional folks have, that somehow a loss will be made to look like a delegitimized, rigged election.
No matter who wins, there'll be tens of millions of Americans, and I'm not using that figure hyperbolically, who think that the winning side has got an illegitimate candidate, someone who is a crook or a psychotic or a liar, and someone who has no business leading the United States. It's a real challenge for whoever wins. And right now, you've got in the Republican Party, a part of the crack-up is Donald Trump has unleashed extraordinary emotions on the part of many of his followers on issues like trade and immigration, where he has changed the face of the Republican Party. Unleashing those emotions and not behaving in a way as Mike Pence did there to calm things down so that the winner, if it's Hillary Clinton, is seen as legitimate, is a real challenge for the country and for the Republican Party if Trump loses.
Another eventful, and many would argue another dark day in this campaign. Terrific discussion. However, at the end of it, Hallie Jackson, thank you. Robert Costa, thank you.